They were difficult times. Bangalore and India medically was pretty backward, and Bangalore was medically just a small town.
कई बार उभरे, कई बार डूबे, कई बार साहिल से आ टकराए, तलाश तालाब में वो लिस्सत मिली कि दुआ करते हैं कि मंजिल ना आए.
Idea of Wockhardt Hospital was a godsend. This was owned by, this industry was owned by one Mr. Habil Khorakiwala, and he had bought this property on Cunningham Road, the first 3 floors, including the basement, to start the Akbar Ali's departmental store, which was their family business. And I put it to him that if we could spend money and could get all the equipment, we could as well build a heart center here. The idea that on a Cunningham Road, a business road, in a multi-story office building, office complex where there were Malya's office, ANZ, Mohan Mikins, all kind of high polloi business had their offices here, that we could run a heart center. It was a very laughable idea. Nobody took us seriously, but we went ahead. I had my team which was with me from 1984, and some of them crossed over and came over and joined this new hospital.
It was in late 1989 that Vivek told that we will be working in a hospital, private hospital doing cardiac surgery. So we had a dinner meeting about our life that we would be having in future in a restaurant called Mobo's. It was next to the current corporation building. There we had discussion as to what is our future and what is the kind of life that we want to lead. Is it money? Is it healthcare? Is it good doctoring, good academics, etc.? But surprisingly, looking back 26 years ago, it was. Now I think we are stuck to the last letter of what we discussed there. We discussed that patient care should be top priority, everything else will follow.
By 89 end, the hospital was ready. We got things going. The final touches were put, and in 1990 we started operating. The first operation was done in 1990 March to establish a private heart center of quality and allow management, trained scientific management systems with medical talent was very alluring.
We were used to working in a 40 feet by 30 feet kind of OT where you could play cricket. To this place was scary, and I told Vivek that we can't be doing cardiac surgery here. He told me, you need a 2 feet by 2 feet to anesthetize. I need 25 square centimeters to operate. We just bend down, operate. When you lift your head, the whole world will be watching you.
कई बार उभरे, कई बार डूबे, कई बार साहिल से आ टकराए, कई बार उभरे, कई बार डूबे, कई बार साहिल से आ टकराए, तलाशे तालाब में वो लिस्सत मिली कि दुआ करते हैं कि.
We were young, we were full of dreams, we were restless. We just looked down upon whatever was the existing norm of practice.
In this hospital, there was no maternity at that time. So it was, I think, the first delivery that happened in Wockhardt Hospital.
मंजिल ना आए, मंजिल ना आए, मंजिल ना आए.
It was decided, I think, by the cardiologist and Dr. Javli here that she was an ideal candidate for mitral valve replacement, together with delivery of the baby at the same sitting under the same anesthesia.
She and the baby survived, did well, were discharged in a normal course. The baby is now grown up. He's a young man. He's studying engineering.
ಅವರು ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರಿಂದನೇ ನನಗೆ ಮಗ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಆಟೋಪರೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಅವ್ರ ನೆನಪಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಲಿ, ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಹೆಸರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಹೆಸರು ವಿವೇಕ್ ಅಂತಲೇ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂಥ ದೊಡ್ಡ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಹೆಸರು ನನಗೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿರೋದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಮ್ಮಿ ಯಾಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇಟ್ಟಿರಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಥರ ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಒಬ್ಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಖಂಡಿತ ಆಗಲಿ.
When we created Fortis Hospital, me and my teammates, many nights I remember we never went home. We stayed back, took turns. I slept here so many times. We all had just motorbikes and it would rain and we would come drenched in the rain because the emergencies wouldn't wait. We couldn't trust anybody. And most of the staff was very inspired staff. We ate together. There was no place to sleep because it was a very small property in a crowded street. And many times if people were tired and there sometimes one and then second, sometimes third emergency would come.
कई बार उबरे, कई बार डूबे, कई बार साहिल से आ टकराए.
It was a one plain hall. We had to build walls, we had to do plumbing work, we had to do electrical work, and the biggest challenge was doing nursing station. We used to work 24 hours a day.
I still remember the people who were associated with this hospital project. There was a brilliant nursing superintendent who was a British woman. Her name was Greta Chakravarti. And she was a very inspiring British nurse from NHS.
I found the corridor, no false ceiling. There was electric wires hanging down all over the place. And I thought, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into? And well, actually, it was probably the best thing I had ever done in my life. We didn't bother that we were on Cunningham Road where the traffic was there and there's noise and the building was not ideally situated for a hospital. But our aim was to make it the best possible hospital for Bangalore.
I still remember in the beginning, the washing of the floors, cleaning of the toilets, and everything was done by nurses. And that they would do because their leader inspired them.
Our main task was to prevent a patient from going to Bombay or Madras. And within a few years, we achieved that.
Actually, we were guided by Dr. Javli himself. Vivek used to take the decisions. We followed him, of course. That was our beginning of our career. We had full faith in him. We knew his qualities and caliber as a surgeon. He was, in the sense, very determined, very disciplined, hard-working individual.
You will never sleep. You will do one surgery. Before going for next surgery, you will read the books. You may sleep for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, keeping the book in his eyes. Again, he will come and start. Chalo ya, we will start the case.
And I think I have never seen a surgeon who has been so mature in the early part of his days, so mature, so hardworking, so attentive to detail. In the sense, if the nurse didn't know how to give a bath to the patient in the morning, I had seen Dr. Javli turning the patient to one side, giving bath, powdering the back, everything to prevent bed sores. See, that kind of commitment I have never seen in any surgeon.
We used to operate difficult cases, would finish by midnight or sometime past midnight. And Vishal Bali was our marketing trainee.
When I met Dr. Javli the first time, he actually told me, don't talk your management language over here in my office. Let's meet in the operating room and I would like to see you there for the next 2 weeks.
He would be so enthusiastically involved. Many occasions he used to get dinner. We used to sit on the floor of the ante room next to the ICU, have dinner together, all of us sitting on the floor and having dinner. And following dinner, 1 or 2 be by the side of the patient. Others had to sleep. There was no place to sleep. People have slept on trolleys, on the floors, only to start the work the next day at 5 a.m. And we were legendary all over India. People ask, do you still operate at 5 o'clock? Yes, we do.
It needed everybody to do everything. And I ended up, although my only job was to do marketing, but I ended up just doing everything over here. And it was a family, and that's where I first learned the power of the family in a corporate.
when we started off initially, an angioplasty was a major event. We would have the surgeon in the cath lab, the anesthetist in the cath lab, the blood bank would be ready. So it was like a major event.
Early 1990, maybe 91 or 92, when we live telecast a surgery from Cunningham Road to La Meridian, which is the present day La Meridian, which was called Holiday Inn at that time. Those days we did not have satellite connections to beam the videos and audios. We laid a physical cable from the OT here, audio and visual, all across the road to La Meridian. Vivek and I went on a two-wheeler. We had motorcycles at that time. We went on the two-wheeler to check the intactness of the cable. And we checked the audio and visual maybe midnight, make sure that everything is fine. And it worked beautifully. And it was path-breaking in Bangalore at that time because nobody ever imagined people could operate and can be seen. Dr. Dudley Johnson from Milwaukee had come, and it was actually a landmark event in Bangalore.
We were blessed that many of the tallest of the tall surgeons in the world, who are my heroes, many of them helped me. They came here, stayed with me to help us set up new procedures.
I think this hospital actually lives and breathes change. And the fact that it was always challenged with its small size probably helped it to deliver a lot more. And so I think when I look back at the last 25 years, I actually look back at an institution which has constantly evolved itself. People inside the institution have lived that change, and they have continuously made the effort to let this institution be always at the cutting edge of its science. And thanks to, again, all the brilliant clinicians who are a part of this enterprise.
The first beating heart bypass surgery was done here by us in 1991. And we relentlessly campaigned the benefits of beating heart bypass surgery. We were discouraged by lots of seniors of those days, the doyens of cardiac surgery in India. But today, if you look at the Indian plethora, the canvas of bypass surgery, 70% of India's coronary bypass surgery is done beating heart. And we're very proud that we started in this small piddly hospital, that trend in India. Beating heart surgery, the minimally invasive coronary bypass surgery were done by us much before they were done in the United States.
Since 1990, Cunningham Road Fortis has been in the forefront of interventional cardiology, and we've been the first center in South India, in Karnataka, doing dedicated carotid stenting program, dedicated percutaneous mitral valve, balloon valvuloplasty, and complex angioplasty program. And we have set a benchmark in doing a primary angioplasty. We have been the most successful and most appreciated program in primary angioplasty or emergency angioplasty with the lowest D2B time.
It created trends. It brought in new procedures which were not just a flash in the pan, something just a big technology, expensive. No, these were procedures which set trend, cut costs, and were applicable to masses.
To make such a small hospital a world beater, it speaks volumes about what went on behind closed doors here.
And by the time we built the new hospital on the Banagata Road, we had reached a level where we were doing 1200 heart operations annually in this small property. So we did a very good job here, and we showed what is possible in space management, time management, and how we could do much more in much less.
But those days probably we had more time, to chat with patients, to talk with them, and patients also had patience, to sit with us and to share with us and talk to us.
We did have an annual function. I remember we had a cricket match, and then finally in the evening we had a cultural festival. The whole day was fun-filled. Truly it was, these were all the golden moments which I'm going to cherish.
It was very enjoyable together because team was very good. It is like a family atmosphere. Even though it was busy also, we never used to feel bad.
And I think any hospital is only as good as its doctors. It's only as good as these facilities that it has too. Then it's people like Javli who make a difference, I think. And that's the biggest strength of Fortis.
My respect for Vivek's professionalism, competence, integrity and patient involvement is just unmatched. And so I really compliment the hospital for having turned 25 years. It's quite a significant milestone.
Today we talk about the Fortis values. Okay, I think it was there, cultivated from there, and it has been grown up today.
All in all, I just remember that it was good to be part of a place like this, and honest to goodness, I guess I still miss it.
Lot of attachment with the hospital, and they have maintained very well. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆಯವರು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಕಂದ. ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ, ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರುಗಳು ದೇವರಿದ್ದಂಗೆ, ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಏಂಜಲ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ, ದೇವತೆಗಳಿದ್ದಂಗೆ. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೇ ಕಂದ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್. ಒಬ್ಬರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ದ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫಿಂದನೇ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಶ್ ದ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್, ಐ ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ದೆಮ್, ವಿಶ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್.
As a doctor and a physician, I had an opportunity to refer most of the cardiovascular patients to this hospital because of the high technology and expertise.
There was a time when the EBITDA of this hospital had gone up to 36%, which is a dream for most of the private hospitals.
We have come a long, long way. I think today the surgery that is carried out in this hospital is to international standards.
This facility went on to prove that a world-class cardiac care can be provided in this city, and it also paved way for many other professionals to look very seriously in setting up large facilities.
And I'm very hopeful that what we have achieved in the last 25 years will very well take it forward in the days ahead. Though it's a big challenge, but I'm sure, I'm very optimistic that we'll continue to do well and take this legacy forward.
And I think over the years, when one looks back at the various events that unfolded over here, and in spite of many of those events, this institution has stood the test of time, just goes to show that it is built on a remarkable DNA.
So the ethos is patient in the center chair, everything for him or her, and teamwork and frugality in the mind. Best practices, yes, but the next practices would have frugality as a very solid foundation.
When we ask ourselves a question, what makes Fortis Hospital's Cunningham Road the hospital that it is, the answer is quite simple. When the best of care is combined with the best of cure, and when the best of management is combined with the best of medicine, the product is naturally a fantastic hospital. And that's what Fortis Hospital's Cunningham Road is all about.
It has been a roller coaster ride of all emotions for us. Everything, it has been such a joyride. And the journey has been so thrilling that we feel that we don't want to reach any destination.
कई बार उबरे, कई बार डूबे, कई बार साहिल से आ टकराए, कई बार उबरे, कई बार डूबे, कई बार साहिल से आ टकराए, तलाशे।
This was exciting because this operation took 1.5 hours with the chest open but no general anesthesia. The whole thing went uneventful. We achieved the coronary bypass surgery. We achieved blood supply to the coronaries where it was not reaching, and the whole thing was done without any general anesthesia. This has been done for the first time in this country. This has been reported from the West in 8 or 9 patients.
The operation was just like a magic, and he has the magic in his fingertips. It is a very, very strange, brilliant, magnificent operation, and God has given him a gift.
इस रास्ते में चलते ये